My name is Ryan McCoskey. I am the lead pastor of the Seed Church right here in Wichita, Kansas. And I'm on your screen right now because I want to take a couple of minutes to tell you a story from the Bible and then tell you what our church will be doing with that story starting Sunday, October 27th. We recently walked through 1 Samuel. It is a book in the Old Testament part of the Bible, and it tells the story of a man named David. If you've spent any time in church circles before, then you know who that is. He's this great king of Israel who came after King Saul. And in 1 Samuel, David's story is all up and to the right. Everything is going well for him, even though he's being pursued by Saul and he's experiencing lots of troubles. He has this incredible relationship with God. He has this deep godly character, and in 1 Samuel, you find that famous story of David defeating Goliath. Then you shift over to 2 Samuel, and now David's at the top of his game. He is the king of Israel. The money is flowing in. He has lots of influence. Everything is going well. And yet, even in the midst of this, we get to the darkest part of David's story, where in one act, he commits fraud, adultery, murder, and treason against his own people and sins grievously against God by taking this woman named Bathsheba, who was not his wife, forcing her into a relationship with him, and then killing her husband to hide the evidence. In the midst of this sin, David is confronted and he owns it and he repents of it. But God makes it clear to David that there's going to be some consequences for the rest of his life that he's going to reap because of this sin. And in the midst of all this repentance, David writes a famous psalm, Psalm 51. It's a psalm of repentance. And in there, David says directly to God, he says, God, the sacrifice that you accept is a broken spirit and a humbled heart. And so David repents of his sin in such a way that his heart is humbled. And so as these consequences start rolling into his life, these consequences because of his sin, instead of chucking his faith and walking away from God and torching everything, he humbly faces the music. Now listen, here's my question for you. We're all broken, right? I mean, even if you're not a Christian, you believe this. That everyone's broken and has issues and problems, and we're all bent sticks. Right? No one's pure, no one's holy, no one's perfectly righteous, which means all of us have sown sinful patterns or mistakes or sins into our own story. So my question for you is, when you reap consequences from your past or your character or your issues, are you humble in the midst of that? And do you know how to keep pursuing what is good and right and true even when the cards are down? That's my question for you. And so I invite you, starting Sunday, October 27th, to the Seed Church as we study David's story of resilient faith in the midst of his sin. And we look at what it means to have a humble heart.